Willie, not the result you would have hoped for tonight. What exactly went wrong for Chelsea?
Well, a few things wrong, but we arrived here with a very bad result from the first game. So we tried to do our best, but from the beginning we conceded for the penalty from the start of the game. So it was a little bit difficult, but we showed good character to play the game. Then they show more quality and more clinical in our own box. So they deserve to be in the next round.
I know the fans as a whole, though, are very positive about how the campaign has been. How would you sum up the season as a whole?
Well, we can see in different ways. We did it but so proper in the Premier League, but we were unlucky in the Cup, and also now in the Champions League we are saying goodbye. But we did a proper tournament in the Premier League. We are in the next Champions League, so this is good for the team. But nothing to regret today. I think the guys ran a lot and did a proper job on the pitch.
You've become the #1 goalkeeper at the club in the past few months, and that how do you see your role at the club going forward? Do you expect to keep that jersey?
Well, I try. I got a contract 1 more year in this club. I'm really happy to play with this T-shirt, and I would like to keep playing because in the last month I became the first option, the first choice, and we'll see what happens in the future. But I keep working hard to have this opportunity again.
Have the club said anything to you on it?
No. Just the boss said I have to play this couple of games. But as I say always, I've been in the bench or in the second position as a goalkeeper, but I always train with the mentality as a first choice.
Willie, thanks for your time.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, difficult night, as we expected it would be for Chelsea against what is a very good Bayern Munich team.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it was a step too far for a lot of these young players. And I think it was for Frank. I'm sure he would have learned a little bit about a few of these players, but I think he would have gone there. His expectations wouldn't have been probably much more than what he got on the end of today. But Bayern Munich look a formidable team at the moment. They look the most convincing team in the tournament for me. They look like the standout favourites now.
They're very slick.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying I thought they were the only team that didn't really have a weakness. I see where Rio's coming from defensively, because even Chelsea troubled them. But I still think they're the best balanced team, you know, in terms of everything: goal scorers, creativity, pace.
They've got the depth. I mean, obviously we're going into a period where it's a knockout, it's a week. There might be a few injuries in this period. Have they got the depth, strength in depth?
Toliso's pretty good. Starts for most teams in the world. Coutinho, I mean, Perisic. Javi Martinez. I mean, they got so many players.
The answer to that question is yes.
They've got a lot of good players.
The only problem if Lewandowski gets injured, all the teams, if their best player gets injured, there's not the like-for-like replacement. But they have still got the likes of Muller who could go up into that kind of false nine position if need be. But I mean, they're a great team, and I love really watching them play such fluid football. Yeah,
and we saw plenty of fluid football right throughout the night. Let's pick up on the second half. Toliso's goal.
Yeah, I mean, we've got it here in the touchscreen because it was just to break it down a little bit. I think we spoke about the defensive frailties, centre-back areas for Chelsea before the game, but I'll stop it here. And again, I hate to pick on the defenders, but it's not only them. I think it's the midfielders as well. In a team, if you want to stop goals going in the pitch, I'm highlighting 3, 4, 5, 6 players. The ball's wide. If you do not communicate and talk and help each other in the box, you will be punished. And not one of these players, I swear to you, has spoken, has said a word, muttered anything to the other to say, listen, man on the shoulder, drop back. If you're just looking at it so easy and quickly, Kurt, drop back. Christensen, drop back. Then Emerson can drop back. The left back there, Emerson, he has to be the one there really talking as well. He has to be the one talking to the likes of Kurt Zouma.
He's not looking at
Christensen.
the players.
But I was saying in Rio, because they're the centre-backs, I would be saying in Rio, as a midfield player, players run off me, I'm too late, he's coming into the box, check your shoulder. And that's how you know they haven't communicated, because none of the centre-backs turn around to look for Tolisso.
Exactly.
I think it's hard for the defenders like Rio, because they're looking at the cross, aren't they?
But you're governed by your fullback there. The person on the opposite side of the pitch, you're highlighted, number 33 there, Emerson, he's the guy who should be communicating, and the guys on the edge of the box. They can see everything there, but they don't. And I'll let it run slowly. You don't see one player's head turn until the ball's gone past them. Look, the ball's gone past the two centre-backs, and they're standing there, startled. Oh, there's a man behind us. It's comical almost, and it is, again, I'm sure, Frank, sometimes you get a game as a management team, and you say again that pushes home the narrative as actually, we do need to reinforce in them areas, not just as players but as characters, as people that can communicate. You spoke about John Terry before. Listen, to buy that type of player in this current market is a £150 million player, and they're not about. But you need someone, maybe sometimes it's not just about ability, it's about someone, a man can come in and say, you move here, you get there, and you can conduct.
Yeah. We saw Lewandowski with that great cross there. Strikers know how to cross the ball because they like to receive it. Didn't take him long to add to his remarkable tally this season.
I mean, honestly, 2 goals, 2 assists. And the thing is, I don't think we could argue he's the most complete centre-forward, isn't he? I mean, just in terms of his overall package.
The number 9. He's classic. He's probably the best in world football, isn't he?
Yeah, his hold-up plays, finishing. I mean, this proper centre-forward and just bang.
He's told Tolisso as well, get out of the way. Again, we talk about, can we get a man playing football? Get out of the way, this is me. I know what to do here. I've been here many a time.
Tolisso ducks.
Exactly, great header. Textbook, that.
Yeah. Let's take you back to very early in the game when Bayern Munich took the lead. Both of you have a view on what led to the penalty being given.
Go on.
You start, Owen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, with Thiago, when he's at the heart of it there, but the big difference is now Kimmich playing as a right-back, he's the width and Davis on the left, so they're almost wingers, so Gnabry can come inside, plays quite central, almost with Thomas Muller, creates a slight bit of an overload there. And look at Lewandowski, he's completely unmarked. Christian Zuma completely lost him. Yeah. And they cause you so many issues, because they're so flexible. Yeah,
and it's the rotation. And we can't say, you've got to stress, this isn't easy. But you see here, the look from Christensen, he sees there's a number 9, there's a danger man. But look at his position. He drifts into the middle of the pitch. He goes away from the man who's got 50-plus goals of the season. Zero awareness. And listen, I said this is top level. It's not easy. It's difficult. But if you're not aware in these situations of who you're playing against and the danger men on the pitch, you get punished.
Let me ask you a question. As a centre-half, can you teach that? Can you be taught? Can you learn that? Or does it have to come naturally?
It's a great question. You can learn it. I think it comes with experience. You need to see these situations. Yeah. You need to be humble, to look back on these videos and take the criticism, and then when these situations arise again in a game, have that intelligence to fit. I've seen this. Make an adjustment in the way you play, different to the last time, and then don't continue making the same mistakes. And many times we're seeing some of these players make the same mistakes.
When you were young and coming up and playing in that position, and you watched perhaps someone in a studio like this criticising perhaps one of your performances, would you listen to that?
Educate me, please.
Yes.
Yeah, because
so you take that in like a sponge.
100%. I was a sponge when I was a young player. I would ask questions all the time. I'd watch the likes of yourself, etc. People critiquing on these type of platforms. But if I felt it was personal, I'd have an issue. But if if a situation's being broken down and I can sit there and go, you know, actually, you're enlightening me there, and I see that, I understand right now. Next game, that situation arises again, then it's down to that game intelligence. Can you rectify that mistake? And if you do that, you've got a chance of then elevating yourself from where you are.
Level. Exactly. Absolutely the top level. Well, Bayern Munich were top level for most of the game. Perisic, 2-0. Talk us through that one, Owen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we're talking about Lewandowski, Muller, Perisic barely plays. And the thing is, that's the biggest difference now, is the press and the intensity of the press. They win it back. Muller, bit of patience. Lewandowski puts it on the plate for Perisic, and I mean, they get goals from everywhere now, don't they? Tolisso got one later on, but that's the biggest difference. That's why Bayern are better than they were previously. They work harder out of possession. Obviously, offensively, they're off the charts. The defensively have improved, but if they're getting goals from Perisic and Coutinho and Tolisso, good luck to everyone else.
Remember, it was only it was well over 12 months ago now, of course, because of lockdown, etc. But we watched Bayern Munich against Liverpool, and They were poor, weren't
Ripped to shreds.
they? I mean, the difference between that team and this team is huge.
Well, I think that was really humbling for Bayern Munich to get so well played from Jurgen Klopp's side that they realised, wow, we're a long way off, Europe's best. But all of a sudden now, change the style, a few little tweaks, and they just...
I think a big change as well is that they're not overplaying at the back.
Yeah.
A lot of their problems at Anfield that day came from Neuer, the centre-halves, overplaying and creating their own problems. Here, if it's not on, he goes longer into over the midfielders, over the press sometimes, and then they play to their strengths, which is in the attacking third.
Yeah. Thiago, we talked about him before the game. He's been linked with Liverpool, of course. He was terrific again, wasn't he?
Oh, he's a real playmaker, a deep-lying playmaker, somebody who can conduct the tempo of the game. Here you see, Owen spoke about this earlier, he drops in between the two centre-backs, comfortable on the ball, and can play them balls that break the lines and turn the opposing midfielders to face their own goal. And so he is a nightmare for opposing players because he's a threat from all over the pitch in terms of opening the game up. And he's got such a variation in his player, hasn't he?
Oh, I mean, look, switch of play, the ball on the deck, he gives people the eyes. But the one thing we saw today that we don't normally see from him, look at this. Tracking back when you're playing as a defensive midfield player in a crucial game in a knockout tie, can you be there? He's there.
Brilliant.
That's and I love this one. Watch this one, by the way. Whap.
Love that.
Get in there.
Love that.
And all of a sudden winning that ball there leads to these moments. I love this one. Give him the eyes. Honestly, Liverpool, if you can get him, get the checkbook out because he's special.
We look over our shoulders, you'll see we've got the last 8. Right, give me your finalists.
I'm going to go. I want Paris Saint-Germain to get there because the likes of Mbappe and the Neymar, you want them glamour players to be there.
That's the other side.
I'm going for Bayern. I mean,
Bayern?
the way they've been performing.
I've got a feeling Owen might agree.
Yeah, no, I think it's PSG to be in the final, but I think Bayern to be too good for PSG.
Does it make a difference that it's one leg? Does that level things up a little bit?
It adds to it, doesn't it? It makes it better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
One game, it's like the FA Cup. The giant killers, anyone can beat anyone on any given day, and you haven't got that backup and that kind of security, or we can take them home next game.
Yeah, it takes away that away goal thing, doesn't it? And the tactical thinking. Just go for it.
Manchester City can win it.
I think. Yeah, City for sure. They're still one of the best teams in the competition. But I just think Bayern have a bit more variables to the game.
We might find out in the semi-final. Who knows? Long way to go, of course. We're going to take a little break now. Tough night for Chelsea, but after the break we hope to hear from the Chelsea boss, Frank Lampard, who has learnt a bit about his youngsters this evening and over the last couple of weeks. But they'll be ready to go next season. Lampard, he's with Archie Rintot.
Frank, you knew it was going to be difficult tonight, but it's ended up being a heavy defeat. How do you feel the team performed this evening?
I thought they performed all right. It's difficult to say that after a 4-1 defeat. I'm not happy. You don't want to lose the game here, but when you conceded 2 goals early, I thought the resilience of how we got back into the game. Unfortunate, I think, with the Callum's goal. Then we get a goal at 2-1. We're fully in the game and competing with what is a top team. When you match up our Champions League appearances to theirs, and you look through their team, I think you can see a big reason there in what we've seen tonight. But I saw lots of good things in the team. Also, some of the bad that we've seen this season, which is where we need to improve. And at 2-1, we're competing in a game. We don't get our goals. We have individual errors that gift them goals. And at this level, that will finish you off.
You've mentioned it there. You said to me before the game that your team is a slight work in progress. How do you see the season overall? Because I know a lot of fans are very positive about your work at the club.
Yeah, I think it's not slight, it's a work in progress. It's not the norm for Chelsea in the last 15, 20 years. We have players of teams of the prime Hazard and Costa and prime Czech, Terry, Drogba. I mean, those teams competing for Premier League titles year on year, getting to semi-finals and finals regularly. We know that's not the case. We lost the best player in the league pretty much in Eden Hazard. We have a lot of players that are young and who have been on loan and come back, and I think they've developed greatly through the year. And that's why people would not normally commend Chelsea coming 4th season. It's not always been the levels, but a lot of people and people were here working, and the fans, the feeling is, and we're not happy with 4th, we want more, but the feeling is that we've achieved something with the group we have. But now is the important time to not rest, to not settle with the 4th, and think, where can we improve? Where can we improve with the players? As a club, where can we improve?
Already got some big new names through the door this summer. Hakim Ziyech for one, Timo Werner for another. Do you feel the club needs to strengthen further in the coming weeks?
We will look at that. because that's our job, my job, us. We're very joined up at how we've worked at it already, and from having a transfer ban, you feel the fact that we've missed, where other clubs have spent and improved, and recruitment is a huge part of this game. So I think when you look through the team, nights like tonight, for me on a footballing sense, show me a lot. So it's a conversation now. The season is ended. It's a very quick turnaround, but now is the time to see, can we improve? What areas can we improve in?
Can we expect further business? Kai Havertz's name has been mentioned strongly with the club.
I wouldn't expect anything. But as I say, it's our job to go away and see what happens and see if we can improve. In the football sense, I feel like I know where we can. So now it's time to look at that.
Frank, enjoy what break you can get.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Is Havertz what they need?
He's really good player.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he's a great young player, but they have a lot of those great young players. And we saw today, and he brought up Cech and Drogba and John Terry. I think they need some leaders in there. I think Havertz, for 90, you want ready-made, walks in and makes you a better team. I think the worry is they spend right now 200 million on Van der Ziyech and Havertz, and they could still finish 4th or 5th. I think, like Frank said, they want to win a title. And I think Kai Havertz is a special player, but it feels like they need to sort out the keeper and the centre-backs first. Mason Mount could play in there. Where does Mason then play? He's had a good season. But I like him.
I really like Kai Havertz. I think he's a fantastic talent, as Owen said. But I definitely would, if you can get him and then still reinforcing the defensive areas and with the goalkeeper, then you're onto a winner. I think that makes them a much, much better team, and a team that can definitely improve on this season.
What about the two players they have signed, Ziyech and Werner?
Oh, listen, we watched Ziyech last season for Ajax. He was magnificent in terms of Mahrez, but he crosses the ball a little bit more, I think, and he's someone who's really always trying to find a way to unlock defences with his delivery. A lot of guile, and Timo Werner, his movement and then his finishing is phenomenal. We saw what he was like against Spurs in London. So two talented players that definitely improve them.
Do you think that this sort of end of season hiccup, if we can call it that, losing the cup final, getting a good hiding by Bayern Munich, dampens what was actually a decent season or not?
No. You know what? I actually think, in a strange way, I think Frank can now say, look, the boys have done great, got us in a position, but I need more. I need to sort the defence, I need to sort the keeper, I need some leaders in there. And I think he's got some really good players. He needs goals from midfield. That's why he wants Havertz. He gets a ton of goals from midfield. Kante and Kovacic, they don't get goals from midfield. So Frank got you goals. He wants goals now from his midfield players. So I think they're in a really good place, Chelsea, but they're a long way off Liverpool and City still. Yeah,
they've got to sort out the back, though, haven't they? Got to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can score as many. You can't just outscore teams all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, they've conceded 79 goals this season, and that's a story in itself, and that tells you exactly where they are. So that's an area. Listen, Frank's no mug. He knows what he needs to improve on, and he speaks so well. The tone of his interviews, just enough criticism to make sure the players understand, but not too much that they're going to have a hangover from this. And I think this is the last two games that they've played. This game and the Arsenal game just adds a little bit of realism for them now. For the fans, for the expectations as well going forward. Frank's done a magnificent job up to now, and there's room for improvement, and I think he'd tell us that himself.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd take